are applicable across the board, and imparting some of the mindset as you go, so that it's not daunting. You can do it. You can recreate the look of something from the real world with different materials and patience. And there's just 1,000 videos on YouTube about this sort of stuff. But there aren't a whole lot of people doing this with balsa as far as building static models from kits that are intended as rubber band free flight or RC aircraft that are small, comparatively small. In other words, if I wanted to buy a plastic kit of this airplane, it's going to be tiny. It's going to be 1/4 inch scale. And those are fine. They fit on a shelf a little better, but you can't really get a whole lot of detail, and you can't pick it up and get a real sense of, or at least this much more of a sense of the airplane. And that's why I like these. It's the scale of them. That and plus the fact with a plastic kit, you're sticking two halves of a fuselage together they already exist. They're that's someone else's interpretation of what it should look like. And with this, you're fabricating it. I mean, the bulkheads or formers are pre-established, but you're assembling a fuselage. You're creating a fuselage, not just piecing two halves together. Creating the wheel pants out of nothing, really. You're just making those, designing them, shaping them, and so on yourself. Establishing the landing gear, struts and supports and all that stuff. In this case, it's a lot more involved than a plastic kit. I'm not bashing plastic models. I don't want to convey that sense. I built my share of those, and I will again, and I continue to. But this is something I've glommed onto that really seems to capture a lot more of my attention. So this is our tail wheel. I'm going to dress this up a little bit. I may put a small fairing over the wheel, or I may just finish it off with wheel covers and some other small details. But anyway, I don't think I showed you this construction. So you can see how we bent the wire to accommodate an axle and a wheel, and to clear room for the wheel itself. Keep it on the center line of the airplane, even as we provided for that bit of room for the axle. It's all one piece. What I'm calling the axle is just this bend. Up into the fuselage it goes, and then back into the former, or actually it's going over the top of the former into the gap there, and then a bit of balsa wood shaped as the support piece here. So now, as it looks, we just have to add a bit of filler here at the trailing edge on both sides, and then clean up that joint. But it looks pretty smooth now. Right. The fairings and the fillet not too bad. Maybe a little more filler here, and then some more shaping to get it to match this one exactly. This side looks done. Right, so really just your brush, a roll of 220 grit sandpaper, and some patience. All right, we'll be back later. Let's see, I gotta detail the front end and get those parts applied to that, dress up the firewall, and make sure the engine still fits on there. We're getting close. We almost have an airplane.